There are days when you look at your life and it feels like everyone else has already left the station. Someone younger has already started a business. Someone your age already has a career. Someone older says they wish they had started when they were your age. And somewhere in the middle of all that, your mind quietly decides something. It's too late. Not because anyone proved it, just because it feels true. That feeling is heavy. It doesn't make you cry, it makes you wait. You tell yourself you'll think about it tomorrow. You'll start next month. You'll begin when things feel right. But that day never arrives, because the problem isn't time. The problem is that your mind has already decided the story. That's what this video is about. Why your brain keeps telling you it's too late, and why that feeling has much less to do with time than you think. Most people believe this feeling comes from looking at the calendar. It doesn't. It comes from comparison. Comparison is simply your brain looking at someone else's life and using it to judge your own. Your brain does this automatically. It is always looking around to understand where you stand. That helped human beings survive for thousands of years. Living in a group meant knowing your place. Today, that same habit is still there. But the world has changed. Now your brain is comparing itself to millions of people every single day. You open your phone, in 10 minutes you see a 19-year-old millionaire, a 22-year-old athlete, someone buying a house, someone getting married, someone traveling the world. Your brain doesn't see millions of people. It sees one message. Everyone is ahead. Imagine walking into a classroom where the exam has already started. Everyone is writing. No one is talking. You don't know when the exam began. You only know everyone else is already writing. Even if you arrived exactly on time, you would still feel late. That's what social media does. You don't see when people struggled. You don't see when they failed. You only see them after they have already begun. So your brain feels like it missed something important, even when it didn't. There is another reason this feeling becomes so strong. Your brain likes clear stories. It doesn't like uncertainty. Uncertainty simply means not knowing what will happen. Not knowing feels uncomfortable. So the brain creates an answer. It's too late. That answer hurts, but it feels better than saying, I don't know. Because at least it sounds certain. Think about someone who wants to learn English. They keep saying, I'm too old now. Maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. But as long as they believe that sentence, they never have to face the harder question. What if I try and still struggle? The mind often chooses a painful certainty over an uncertain possibility. Not because it's smart, because it's trying to protect you. But protection and truth are not always the same thing. Here's something most people never notice. When you say it's too late, you're usually imagining where you could have been if you had started earlier. You picture today's successful version of yourself. Then you compare that imaginary person to who you are now. Of course you lose. You're comparing reality to imagination. Reality almost always loses that comparison. Imagine planting a tree today. You look at another tree that was planted 10 years ago. It's taller. It gives more shade. It has stronger branches. You could stand there feeling bad that your tree isn't that big, or you could remember one simple fact. The older tree is only bigger because someone planted it. That's all. Every big tree was once the small one. The difference wasn't magic, it was time. And time only helps the things that already exist, not the things that never begin. So here's one idea I want you to remember. Don't ask, am I late? Ask, has the next step disappeared? Most of the time, it hasn't. If you want to read more books, the next step still exists. If you want to exercise, the next step still exists. If you want to learn a skill, the next step still exists. Life is almost never asking you to finish today. It is only asking whether the next step is still possible. And if it is, then you are not too late for that next step. You are only standing before it. Think about learning to drive. Nobody gets in the car and reaches the destination in 1 minute. They only think about the next action. Start the engine, release the brake, move slowly, turn the wheel. That's how every journey works. Not by thinking about the whole road, but by taking the next piece of it. The same is true for your life. Your mind keeps jumping 10 years ahead. That's why it feels impossible. Bring it back to today. Today is much smaller. Today is manageable. Today only asks for one honest action, not a complete transformation. So if this feeling has been following you for years, don't argue with it. Just test it. Choose one thing you've been postponing because you believed it was too late, and then spend just 10 minutes on it today. Not to finish it, not to become great at it, just to prove one thing. The next step still exists. Your brain learns much more from action than from thinking. One small action quietly weakens a belief that hundreds of hours of worrying never could. You don't need to convince yourself that everything will work out. You don't know that. No one does. You only need to stop treating an unwritten future as if it has already been decided, because it hasn't. The sentence, "it's too late," sounds like a fact. Most of the time, it's only a feeling wearing the clothes of a fact, and feelings can be wrong, more often than we think. You are not someone who missed life. You are someone whose next step is still waiting. What's one thing you've been calling too late that is still possible today? There's a free resource in the description if you want to go deeper into understanding how your mind works. See you in the next one.